Hi there, I'm Dan Brady, a designer on the design system team, and today I'm going to show you how to get started using the component library. The component library is a set of reusable components that the design system team owns and maintains, but are used for you to build out some of your designs for the VA. Um, so once you have access to the Figma instance on the VA and you start a new file, you should be attached to the component library right away. And you could validate this by going to your assets panel, and you should see two libraries. One's the component library and the other is the annotation kit. If for some reason you don't see libraries here, you could click on this little book icon, which should open your libraries panel, and you should be able to find the component library in a listing here with a button that says Add to File. If for some reason you don't see any libraries, you're likely not on the VA Figma instance, but feel free to reach out to us on the design system team and we could help you get set up. Okay, so I see that I'm attached, and if I were to expand this library, you'll see all the components that we have in our component library. I'll just hop over to that actual library so you could get a sense of it. So this is the actual component library that the design system team built and maintains. And this has all of the nuts and bolts of the component that you're welcome to look at, but you wouldn't need to touch any of this. So um, all the components are here that are listed on design.va.gov. Um, we do separate the form components out into their own section, just as an FYI, because there's so many of them. Okay, but I'm going to pretend that I'm a new hire and I just started a new file and I'm going to start building out a design using some of the components. So first thing to do, I was going to create a frame and I'm going to design something for mobile. I would recommend starting with mobile. The collaboration cycle will be looking for your mobile designs. So 320 is the width that we currently use for mobile designs. I have a frame here set up. I'm going to go to my assets panel and I know I need the header. So I could search header. If I click once on an icon, or excuse me, once on an item, you'll see a little preview window with all the properties associated with that component. And then I could click Insert Instance and it'll drop it on the page. Or you could simply just drag it out of your asset panel too. Um, so you'll see once I drag it out, all the properties associated with that component are now on the right side. If that component has maybe some nested components, as the header does, you'll see some nested properties as well that you could adjust as here too. But since I'm working on a mobile design, I'm going to change this to be mobile. And there you go. Now it's the mobile version. I'm going to put that in there. And similarly, I need a footer, so I'll take out a footer and I'm going to say I want the mobile version and I'm going to put it in my design too. Let me make sure I have it in the frame. I do. Okay. So now that I have a couple components on my canvas, if I select the component once, so it's highlighted over here, it's a little bit hidden, but if you hover over the description that we have here and it says show more, it'll give you the little description that matches what we have on design.va.gov, but also has a link to that documentation. So you could click here and it will take you right there to that that page on the doc site for some guidance. Um, Now, also, part of the component library is some text styles. So if I want to create a page title, um, I have some text here. Clicking these four little dots opens my style panel, and it says, here's all the styles that are coming from the component library. Here's all the headings. Mobile has different level ones and level twos. So I'm going to select that here. But feel free to browse around those text styles as well. Drag that in the page. Now maybe I want some radio buttons, which are common. We try to build them to be as flexible as possible, so that's why you see we have up to 10 radio buttons could be inserted. And that's simply by just toggling some of these on and off. We also cater for the different states of a component. So like what an error state might look like. You want to reflect that in your designs. Um, what else? So I'll bring that in. What else? What else is also good? Buttons are always common. So we have a button component. Again, you'll see some properties. We have different stylings, different states for that button, hover, focus, etc. Uh, you could change the text for any component. You could change the text within the component on the canvas, or if there's a property set up, you could change it there too. The only difference is that if for some reason you need to add some different styling for part of the text, you would have to do that in the canvas. You can't do it through a property. So for instance, let's actually look at an alert. Alert's a good one. So here's an alert. There's different variations. As you can see, we're going to go to mobile. Um, I'm going to say this is the success type of alert. And here's an example of like where you could change it by text. So I'll just write this is some text. You can't add any styling in here. Say you want to have, um, some text like bolded or something. So you would have to do it on the canvas. Can't do it through properties currently. Um, so that's really it. That's how simple it is. If you ever find that a component is not working for you and doesn't have the options you might need, or you feel like you might need to detach that component to get it to work the way you want, please let us know. We are not aware when people detach components or they're not doing what they need to do. So please reach out to us and let us know. Um, if your design, if there was updates to the components that you use in your design, you'll see a little indication in this icon. That's a little badge that will pop up and say there's updates available for your components that you used. Um, I would recommend, it'll give you two options. It'll say, do you want to update all your instances of components, or do you want to review them? I would recommend reviewing a few at least to make sure that the updates don't affect your work in any way. We try extremely hard not to have that happen, but we are human and it could happen. So I would recommend at least reviewing a few updates in your design before accepting all updates, especially if you have a lot of them. Okay, so that's really it. That's the component library in a nutshell. Um, I will say that you are welcome to go look at our component library. It's available for anybody to look at. This is like the nuts and bolts of the components, how they're built behind the scenes, and you can see all the properties and all the styles that are available. This is what the design system team maintains, so you shouldn't need to do anything here. Um, I will also add that at the top of the file, we have like a directory. Daniel's checking this out now. That has a bunch of different resources that we've made available. We're currently looking at the component library, but there's component examples, templates, patterns, and forms, which we're building out currently, and the annotation kit, which we saw earlier that was already attached to our file. So briefly, I could go through some of these. The component example libraries could be interesting because what we've done is we've taken all the components and we built out showing all the different properties that you can adjust and what it looks like when you adjust those properties. And then we put in some common examples for those components. So let's see. And we usually do mobile and desktop examples. So this might be a good reference to check out if you're looking for different ways to style your components. You are welcome to copy and paste from this file. If you do, it's going to maintain that link to the component library. So any updates that we do would get pushed to you if you were to accept them, but you would be notified that there are updates to those components. Um, The other library that we had was the annotation kit. This was adapted from a CVS annotation kit for our purposes. And this is really good to add um, notes and annotations for your designs for developers or accessibility or whatever. But just to show you a couple, so it works the same way as a component library where you could select a component type and it's saying this is a node. I'm going to put over here, and that's referring to um, this. So we'll say maybe this is a node, and maybe we're going to say like this is a success alert after submission, whatever. So you get the idea. This is a good way that you can annotate your designs. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on the Slack channel. There's a link down here on that Design Libraries and Resources page, Platform Design Systems, where you can reach us. And welcome and good luck. Thanks.